Hello, hello. Sandy from Doux Designs. Super excited about tonight. We're going to try something new. Just like every time this week, something new, something new. Look at all this amazing stuff I have on my desk. Who is ready for some fun crafting? And I am going to stall just a teeny bit before we get started so that we can get some people who want to join in on the, once we have somebody join in, then we'll get rolling. Look at that. Hey, Diana. How are you? Hello, hello. We have 2 watchers, but I only see 1 name on there, so. And Christina Rutter, yay! Okay, so I have a whole lot of stuff here on my desk. I have this new paper pad from, again, from Paper Rose. And this is a Christmas set. It's called Enchanting Christmas. You're on the elliptical. Awesome. And it has blues and purples and greens in it. And I love it. So we're going to use this tonight. We're going to use these Whimsy stamps. And we're actually going to use all of the stamp sets except for this one right here. We're going to use all of them tonight. So we have lots of cool stuff going on. I have these stamps set up, but we have to do a step before we can stamp them. So I'm going to set that aside. Hopefully I won't forget where I set it. And then we are going to do some coloring as well. We're going to do some coloring, some background stamping, and we are going to paste tonight. So this is called Astro Paste Unicorn Horn. So this is Simon Hurley, if you've never seen it before. I just got it the last time I went to an event, and I thought we would play with it tonight and see what happens. But it takes about 20 minutes or so for it to dry, so we have to do that first. That way it can be drying while we're coloring and getting everything else organized. So I think that's our best bet, and I'm gonna roll with that. And I think because my Olos are sitting on top of my Copics, I'm probably going to use Olos tonight. You know, because it doesn't matter to me which one I use. I like them all. So I'm going to set these things aside for now. And we're going to start with the paste, okay? I'm going to be doing this paste right on my desk. Hopefully it doesn't make a mess. Can you heat dry it? I tried to heat dry it. And it really warps the paper trying to get it to dry, and it just doesn't look right. So, no, we're not going to heat dry it. But I am going to have to use a sticky mat to hold the paper still. So, I'm going to use one of these old yucky sticky mats that I have, and I'm going to spray it with pixie spray because I have some pixie spray. And I feel like it'll help if I just get a little bit of sticky on there. So this resets that stickiness. And so I'm going to spray it kind of off screen. Just very, very lightly. It doesn't need a whole lot. This stuff is really sticky. While you can't heat set it, you might be able to. For me, it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do with heat setting. But it only takes about 20 minutes for it to dry. So it's not horrible, but it does take a little bit of time. So we're just going to go ahead and get it done first. So we are going to do this on black cardstock tonight. I got this new black cardstock that was on Black Friday sale, really cheap. It's scrapbook.com, heavyweight mixed media paper. Came with 15 sheets. It's 400 GSM, so it's very thick. And I had never had it before, but I wanted some good black because I wanted to use my, I wanted to use these ink pads that I bought And we didn't really like them I didn't really like them when I used them the last time. This is Lisa Horton. I wanted to see what they look like on black paper, and I didn't have any good black paper, so I opted not to use them tonight because I just like the way that so this is one of these Lisa Horton ink pads. It looks like this. It's kind of pink in one and then blue in the other. It's this one. And then this is it embossed, which I thought was pretty, but not quite as pretty as this. And this is the paste we're going to use tonight. So I did test out the pastes and stuff to kind of see what we wanted to do. By the way, if you want to win this card tonight, I'm about to give you your word that you will have to type in the comments, so that as soon as I can find a little piece of paper so I can write it on the paper, and then you guys will have it on screen the whole time. I found one. Woohoo! So tonight, your code word to win the card is Frosty. There we go, Frosty. So you type in Frosty in the comments if you want to win the card. This is another one I played with. This is a different Lisa Horton ink pad. I did it in pink on white paper, and then I put the blue around the outside, but I embossed this. So that ink allows you to emboss on top of it. And I liked it, but the pink was too vibrant. I really wanted the blue color. So I'm not going to use this for this project, but I might use it for another. And by the way, this is the same this is the stencil that we're going to use tonight. So this is the design that it can make where you can cut out just the circle. So I thought that was pretty cool. But tonight we're going to do this whole thing in the paste. So I'm really excited about the potential of what this is going to look like. I have not tested it, so I'm excited that you guys want to win the card, because we don't even know what it's going to look like when it's done. I have no idea. I have a guess, but no idea for sure. Hey, Cheryl. So here's the code word for those people who are popping on. I should probably write that in a thicker pen. Let me grab my darker pens with thicker lines so you guys can see that while we're working on this. And this is the code word if you want to win the card. Frosty. So, you know, all month long, there'll be a different code word each night. And if you want to win the card, you got to type in the code word. That way I know people really want the card. So again, this is Simon Hurley Astro Paste, and the color is Unicorn Horn. So we are going to use this. It is recommended that you wash your stencil immediately. So we have Dale sitting close by to help us out tonight. So pretty excited about that. I have a little spatula here that I'm going to use to apply. It's almost like a whipped cream. It's like really thin and dense, but it feels like a whipped cream. It's kind of cool feeling. So I'm going to start. I want the whole thing to be covered, but not too awful thick. Just want it to be covered, and then we'll thin it out. So I'm just going to do it thick at first, and then we'll thin out whatever we don't use, you know. So just making sure we get a full layer of this. So generally putting it on the back of your spatula when you take it out of the container is usually the key. If you put it on the front, you can't ever pick it up, so that's kind of frustrating. So we're just going to get a real thick layer, and then we're going to thin out the layer in a minute. So hang with me. If you've never done this, it's fun, but it's messy. So usually when I do this kind of craft, I usually do a bunch of them at one time and then save them for later projects. So once you get it on there, I want it to be a little bit thick. It's kind of hard holding your spatula smooth across there so you get a thick enough layer, but not too thick. And I don't want to waste any of it, so I'm kind of picking up the excess and putting it back in the jar because, you know, we want to keep as much as we can. So I'm just going to lightly, very light pressure over the top to pick this up. When I see it thin out like that, I'm going to go over it again because I don't want it to be real thin. Although texture in different layers is great. There's no problem with that. It's just whatever you like, whatever your desire is. But this is how I do it, and I don't do it that often, so I'm not like great at it. I'm just mediocre. But there we go. Hi, Rebecca. Rebecca, we're playing with this Simon Hurley paste tonight. Astro Paste, actually. I have lots of different kinds of pastes from him, and I do love them all, but I just don't do them as much as I'd like. You have a ton of these pastes, and they don't wipe off your hands like Barely Art glue does. So like Barely Art glue, I can just rub my hands together and it goes away, but this paste doesn't work like that. Okay, so I'm going to lift up. Actually, I probably need some more right there. I got a little thin on that corner, and I want to make sure that corner has something on it. So I'm going to come back in and kind of fix that corner real quick. All right, that's much better. Okay, honey, it's time for you to clean the stencil as soon as I lift it up. Here's the wow. Wow. Ooh, la la. Look at how pretty that is. I kind of wanted it to look a little bit like snow. So that's why I wanted to opt for this color. It might mess up this pad being on there like that. But look at how pretty that is. Oh, wait a minute, honey. Don't go away. Don't clean it yet. I got to do 2 more. I forgot. I want to do 2 more of those.
2 more what?
I want to use that. I'm going to wipe along this edge so I don't have too much going here. And then I'm going to set this aside so it can dry. Why not?
I already started cleaning it.
Well, I need it. Okay, so I gave it to Dale too early. That was my mistake. But what I want to do, and I'll go ahead and put these down while I'm waiting for him to bring it back to me, is I want to use that circle piece in the center here for the other 2 sides of the card. So if you want to win the card, don't forget you got to type the word Frosty. Frosty is the key word tonight. Just in time, Meg. I really hate when all this stuff sticks to my fingers. I mean, I'm not really bad. I don't really care about getting dirty. I just, it drives me crazy. Are you bringing it back? He's gonna shoot me. So I want to put something on here. I guess I'm trying to see if there's anything else on my desk I could use instead. I'm not really seeing anything. Do I need to pick a different stencil, honey? I think he disappeared, you guys. All right, I tell you what we do. We're not going to do that. We'll take it off of here, and it's okay. We'll emboss. We'll do embossing as well. So we'll use these little squares right here, and we'll do embossing. Because why not, right? All right, so I have the embossing powder out somewhere because I was going to use it earlier. Here it is. Hiya! Hey, Babison, how are you? So if you want to win this card tonight, you have to type in the word Frosty. There's a drawing after the live, and you can. It's okay, honey. I've decided to opt out for the next step instead. You can win it if you want to be in the drawing. Here is my Versamark pad. And I'm going to do this snowflake with this Versamark. And I'm just going to stamp it like all over these two so we can get some little snowflakes on here, because that's really what I want to be on there. So we have a lot of techniques in tonight's card. It's not just a card. There's going to be coloring, there was ink, there's going to be embossing, there's going to be there's going to be an interactive fun fold card. So lots and lots of stuff for tonight. So if you want to stick around, would love that. I picked these new Whimsy Stamps images because they're a quick color and I knew we were going to spend time making the cards and such. So I wanted to give us enough time. So if you have one of these, it's like a bling tray. But I use it for embossing as well. I know it's small, but it works perfectly for me. So what I'm going to do is grab my tweezers and I'm going to pick this up, and then I'm just going to dump like the embossing powder over top of this stuff. And usually I use all the freaking embossing powder when I'm doing this because I can always put it back in the tray. And I'm okay if it shows like a little bit of the spots because I didn't do the static free, so it'll have like extra little spots around here, and I'm okay because it snows, so it's totally fine to have more colors all over the place. So this works really great to put it back in the container so I can do it again. So if you don't have one of these, you might want to grab one because it is extremely helpful. It's a little bit small, but I like small things on my desk because they don't take up so much space. There we go. So I need to kind of tap this one off. I did make a little bit of mess. This is old embossing powder. I'm hoping it still works pretty good. Because I just don't emboss that much. So it's like a brand new container, but I didn't use it very much. So I generally just tap it a little bit, get as much as I can in there, and then, well, I might clean that up too. So we're going to use our little frosty sign. I'm going to slide this off my desk into the tray because it's just easier that way. You won't be able to actually see me do it because it goes off camera, but I'll show you. But that gets as much as I can. It puts it back in the dish, and then I have a second shot at getting it back into this container. So I love that. It makes my life easier. It probably will make your life easier as well. All right, I'm going to have to wipe this off because we're going to use this for something else a little bit later in the class that we're having today. So make sure that you type your the code word Frosty if you want to win the card tonight. You don't have to pay anything. It's not a purchase, or it's just if you want to win this card that we're making, type the word Frosty. Now I'm going to heat these up so that we can get them embossed. And I have these cute little, because this is such a small, I have these cute little hands right here that hold it so it doesn't burn my hand. But I'm going to turn on this now, so if you want to mute it for a second, I'll give you a thumbs up when I'm done embossing these. Here we go. There we go. Perfect. Looks like I overheated that side. Oh no, there it is. I didn't heat it enough. Okay, one more, and then I'll turn the heating tool off. Here it goes. Well, this turned out nicely. All right. We're done with heat embossing for now. Okay, so now we have these cute 2 little panels, which we need for our card later. So I'm going to set those aside. But the biggest concern was getting this done. Look at how gorgeous that is. Now, when it dries, you won't see the white. It will dry clear like this. And I think it's going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to set it up here so it can dry. I'm hoping that by the time we get done with everything else, it will have dried completely. But we're going to start coloring. But before we color, I need to get this embossing stuff off my desk. I can't. It feels gross to put your arm in embossing powder on your desk. So I'm just going to wipe it off real quick so I'm not coloring in that yucky, bumpy feeling. All right, there we go. So we definitely want to color them. Oh, we have one more step before I stamp the other ones. I have to decorate the background of this. So what I want to do is I want to use blue. I need to have some blue in the background because I've chosen blue paper. And I want that blue to be like a stamp off situation. You get most of you guys who most of you guys know what I'm talking about, but I want to do the background with that snowflake again so we have consistency on our card, but I'm not going to heat emboss this one. I just want to make a blue snowflakey background. And I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on here, and that'll make my snowflakes lighter, not so dark. Oh, I just realized there's a happy face in that snowflake. Look at that snowflake has a happy face. How cute is that? Like I said, I just got this stamp set today. It arrived and I was like, I'm using it tonight because it's fun. So I'm stamping off just because I wanted that blue color to be a little bit lighter. And you can get that if you stamp on an excess paper first. And depending on how much pressure you put on it, tells you how much ink it takes off. So some of them are a little bit darker than others. And I kind of like that because you have a little bit more of that control. So I think Stampin' Up! Called this stamping off when I first learned how to do this. When they first mentioned it, I was like, I wasn't sure. I would never know. I'm not very good at knowing what things are called. Like, what's the name of that type of card? I don't know. I just made it. I don't really know what people want to call it, but I'm going to turn it now so my happy face moves around, because right now they're all going in the same direction and I want to move it around a little bit. That face is so cute. I can't even. Okay, I'm going to move it again a little bit more so I get a little bit different direction of my little face. And honestly, that paper is kind of cool too. But you know. Light touch so that my snowflake will be darker. And then I really like to do some off the page. So I'm for sure going to have me some stamps off the page. And I'm okay with a few of these being a little bit darker. There we go. I want it to be a little bit busy, you know, not too busy. This is all personal preference. You choose how much you want to be on yours, but I like it to look like it's a piece of pattern paper. So in order to do that, you have to do things off the page because you never know when someone's going to cut the paper or where they're going to cut it. So you might actually see different stuff on there. One more time and then I am finished. And sometimes I don't know when to stop. I'm not going to lie. I just like to do all kinds of stuff. So sometimes I get too much. But I like that. I think that's pretty good. So don't forget your frosty word. I haven't been watching the screen, so I don't know if you guys have been typing that word or not. But if you just type the word frosty, you'll be in the drawing for this card when we finish it tonight. All right, so this is going to be our one of our other backgrounds that we're going to have. So clearly you can tell by all the backgrounds we're talking about, there's going to be a lot of steps to this card, but I promise it's easy. It's not hard to make. So what I want to do is, oh, you know, that kind of didn't work out the way I was thinking in my head. I really want to put this guy and this guy on that card. So I'm going to flip that over maybe, or just get another one so I can use that for something else. And we'll just make our decision as we go. I want those to be stamped in the background, but I don't want to get it on the images, and I don't want to cut the images out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stamp this. And I don't think I have that paper cut down because I cut this one down. Yeah. So we'll just make sure we trim the paper afterwards. I'm keeping that though. You never know. You might use it for something. So I'm going to stamp these and then we'll do the snowflake around them because that's really what my intent was. I like the Misty because I can double stamp, because I like my sentiment to be really dark. But this one I'm going to color as well, so I don't want to use the VersaFine. I want to use the Memento. Hey Meg, hey Cheryl, hey everybody. How's everybody doing? Are you guys talking and I'm missing it? Oh, look at that. Rebecca and Cheryl and Diane and Meg and Barbara and Frosty and Ava and Babison and everybody. Nice. Okay, we're going to, ooh, that kind of looks cool. So this is a brand new stamp set and I did not prep it before tonight, which means I didn't wipe it down with, you know, wet cloth or something before I used it. So sometimes you have to stamp more than once until you get the ink conditioned on the stamp. But I don't know. It's not my favorite stamp job. So maybe I'll stamp it one more time. Hold tight. Let me clean it. I should have done that to start out with. I'm so sorry I didn't. Squeaky, squeaky. Let's take this and we'll throw that away. Or I'll use it later. And then I'm going to grab me another piece of paper. And I'm just gonna stamp it one more time because it's, and I might do it twice because of I want the ink to be really dark. But I also want it to be a nice, clean, crisp image because someone is going to win this, and I don't want to give you something that's only mediocre. So there we go. Now I'm not going to restamp this one, just this one, because I want the words to be pretty dark. A little bit darker than the little snowman. Now I wish I had made a mask ahead of time. I didn't, but I think we could still use that snowflake stamp just fine. So I have this piece of paper to just shove in there so you don't have to wait for me to clean it. So that's a good thing. Frosty is the word, the code word tonight, because we're feeling frosty. I love that background I made. We're going to make it again right now with, I'm going to double stamp again. I'm just going to do it around them because I really want them on the background, but I don't want to have to cut them out. I already have to cut them out. I don't want to cut these ones out too. So we'll just go around here. And just be real careful. We're going to rotate our happy face because we want those snowflakes to have smiles all over the place. Oh, this is going to be really good. We don't even need to put it all over the card. I just definitely want it up here at the top of this card. Because this is so cute. I mean, the reason I bought this stamp set was this guy right here, his little face like that. He's so cute. It made me laugh. I think I'm happy with it just like that. So I'm going to stop. I am going to save this for maybe another version of this card we're making tonight. But at least you learned how to do that. So it wasn't like a lost cause. We learned a little something. I'll give you the measurements for the card. It's a super easy card tonight, so I'm really happy about that. All right, so this one we're going to have to color the images and this one. So that's why I wanted to have this one stamped before we got rolling. Now, I haven't done snowmen with my Olos, but I have Olos out, so we're going to roll with that. Remember, these are the colors of our papers. So we have blue, green, and purple. So I'm going to stick with these types of colors so I can use this paper pad for our card. And I'll give you the measurements on the card and all those details as we get to them. We're not quite there yet. So I'm going to start. We're definitely going to use probably CG3, CG1. And then we need I like to use in Copics BG000, but there isn't one quite that light in Olo. So we're going to look at both B 2.0 and BG 2.1 to see which one works the best for us. Sorry, all that talking makes me super thirsty. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, this is our CG3. We're not going to use a lot of that, but we are going to use some. And then we'll need to use one of these in between our lightest colors. So we have that option, which I think is a little bit more green than I wanted to go. And we have this option, which is not quite enough blue. Okay, we have another option, which is B0.2. Oh, that's it. That's the one. That's the one we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to put the other two back because we don't need those. And we are going to use CG3, B0.2, and CG1. And the colorless blender for all our snow people, okay? And our snowballs. Did you say where these stamps came from? I did at the very beginning, but most people may have missed it. This is one stamp set with all these images in it, and it's Whimsy Stamps. I just got it today. It's so cute. Isn't it cute? I have an affiliate link for them. I can put it under this video, but it's called Let It Snow Snowmen. It was $14.99. I thought it was super cute. And while you're out there, you might want to check out these because I also picked up these These are just card front squares, and oh my gosh, look at that little Grinch. How funny is that? So these are the two things I ordered from them. We're not using the Grinch tonight, but we are using the whole stamp pad because I was just so excited to get it that I just couldn't wait. Okay, so we know our snowmen are going to be those colors. We have 3 other colors to work with. We need something in the green, we need something in the blue, and we need something in the purple-ish color. So I'm going to keep this paper out so we can match out the colors. I'm focused on these 3 colors. They are adorable, aren't they, Barbara? I mean, they are so cute. They even have a girl version of the Grinch, which is epic, but it was sold out when I bought it. But they said, that's not the right purple. They said they would let me know when it was back in stock, and I got notified last night. I haven't had a chance to go out there and shop, but they're definitely back in shop, the little girl ones, and they're really cute too. Let's try this color. It's V76. Oh yeah, this is going to be much closer to that purple. You know, I always gravitate towards the really bright, pretty purples because that's, you know, that's just my thing. But I think these colors will work really well. They look like they match fairly well with this. They're a little bit different, but there's some pink in there, so I think we're good. So that'll be our purple. And if you haven't noticed, I posted all the information, the link for all the information for the Spring Into Color in April. So you can now go in and sign up if you want to for that event. I am super excited. I will be adding more details on exactly what you'll get and how it's going to go, other than what I've already posted, very soon. Once you sign up, you'll be added to a Facebook group specifically for that event, and we'll continue to give you details until it's time for the event. It's going to be a lot of teaching, and it's going to encompass Copics, Olos, and Ohuhus. So any of those 3 brands you have, I will be teaching all 3. Trust me, I have a plan for that, even though it sounds like crazy and bizarre that I would be teaching 3 of those all at the same time, but I promise I have a plan. Okay, I think I'm going to use this dark YG 8.7, and then I'm going to shift to G 5.3, and then I think I'm going to shift back to YG 8.3. So I'm gonna like put a little bit of bright in the middle to kind of liven up that green color a little bit, and then dull it down so it kind of matches a little better with that. Now we need a blue, and I think this is kind of my go-to blue. For Olos, let's see if how this works. B 4.7. Already I'm loving it. Of course, that's why it's my go-to. 4.6. Yeah, this is amazing. And B 4.3. Yep, perfect. See that? The green's going to be a little off, but I think if I mix them well, we'll get close to that. So we'll just play that by ear. So now we have purple, green, and blue, and that is what we're going to do all of the accent things within the picture in those colors. If we need it, we'll pull in a little bit of pink, but I think we're going to stick with these. So excited to be a part of this coloring journey. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are with me too. It is going to be so much fun. We're going to have, I mean, there'll be a lot of training lessons, hair, skin, eyes, and a bunch more. And then there's also going to be projects and free time and one-on-one, and it's just going to be awesome. We've limited the number of attendees so that there'll be more time for one-on-one, so don't delay, because if it sells out, you'll have to wait for the next one. All right, I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? We're gonna need, I'm gonna use a little bit, I'm gonna pull out W3, W1, and W0 to kind of maybe work on a little bit of the snow underneath them, because it'll need to be a little bit different color. And then we have hats that need to be black. So I'm going to grab the CG9, 7, and 5. Really hoping you can attend. Me too. And Rebecca, we're local, so we can even fly together and stuff. So just get a hold of me when you figure that out. You're ready, you're ready, you're ready. Okay, these snowballs crack me up. All right, I'm gonna zoom in so we can start coloring these up. I don't think it'll take long to do them. And I'm on Craft Roulette tomorrow, so you guys don't forget, come see me tomorrow. I'm so excited, I can't wait. I love a good challenge. And Craft Roulette is great for a challenge because I have no idea. I'm just grabbing an orange for the nose. I saw the tentative parameters that are out on the website, so I know what could happen, but there's like 20 something on each category, so it is what it is. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm excited. I have no idea what I'll do, but I know it'll be fun. Okay, I'm going to start real quick doing their noses first. And I'm going to do the underside of their little noses real quick. Oh, we're going to need a pink for their mouths too, because, you know, we got to make them look real. And then one for this little guy. We're going to just color them all at the same time. So I'm going to show you how quickly and how easy it is to color all of these little tiny images that you can do super fast. And I'm just extending from where I put that original color. I'm not doing around the outside with the Olos because they're so juicy. Sometimes it's better to not do that and leave the highlight on the top. So that's why I'm doing that. So it's easy to color with alcohol markers and they all work generally the same, but there are some little variances that you on each one, which is why we always say there's a learning curve when you switch from one marker to the other. Yay, you're excited to see me again. I know, I can't wait. I'm trying to look at the dates for the paper Ganza that is coming up for next year to see if I can go. Are you gonna go, Ava? We've got to sit together if you go, because that was so much fun. I think meeting you and hanging out with you is one of my favorite parts about that event. All right, so now I'm going to grab a pink, and I really only need one, so I'm going to grab R 5.3. And I'm just going to put that little bit of pink in their mouths, on their tongues, and in their little, and on all of them, even the little teeny snowballs. Oh, that one doesn't have one. By the way, just as a check-in, this is drying nicely. See how it's going to clear from white to clear? That's what it does when it dries, so it's going to be awesome. It is drying. I have it sitting out. All right, so next what I want to do is go ahead and get the snowmen colored because they're very light color and I don't want to get any other colors in the way, you know. So I'm going to start with the C3. Now, when I do snowmen, I'm not going to color the whole snowman. I'm just going to put the shadow effects so you can see the snowman. And I've never colored these before, so I'm just kind of winging it. But I'm going to choose some little areas for some shadows on these cute little snowman. And I'm not going to pay attention to those little circles right there, they don't really matter to me. I'm just going to go over them. So I'm going to put a little bit under his nose and a little bit on each side of his face. And then this one, I want this one to be more like over here. And notice I never go to the edge of the little guy because I need to save that to add in the blue. And then his little body part is hard to tell if that's snow or an outfit. So we're going to assume it's snow and he's just melting on this poor little guy's head. So that's going to be our plan for him. And then we have a snowball up here, which is super cute. And I kind of stuck with the same, you know, a little bit on each side. Then we have these two little guys. So this one, I'm going to put some along the bottom here and some along the top. And then for this one, I want to do this one a little bit different, a little bit on this side and a little bit on this side. And then this one right here, my shadow is going to be more over here. I'm going to put a little bit underneath this scarf, a little bit underneath there. And then I'm just going to put some on this side. So it is kind of random where you put your shadow. So wherever you put it, it's going to be fine. It's pretty, isn't it? It's going to be, oh, it's going to be so awesome when it gets done. I'm excited. And now's when we add a little bit of blue. So we could leave them gray, but I feel like when I add a little bit of blue, it just really brings out that ice cold feel. So I'm kind of extending a little bit, and then I'm kind of pulling it in towards the center. So extend this way and then kind of towards the center to keep this looking like a circular snowball. And I feel like just right there, you can tell that blue is going to make a big difference. So just a teeny bit under the nose because I don't want too much there. And then this one's the same way, extending and just bringing it out a little bit more. And then we're just going to go up and keep doing that right on all of these. So extending and making a little wider. This one will go up just a little bit and also in towards his face. Same thing on this one, up and in towards his face. A little bit further on the top of his head. This one. We're going to keep this one a little round shaped. We want him to stay rounded. And then this one, kind of that same feel. He's got a nice big hat on, so he needs that little bit of shadow. And then this one, I kind of think of this one as a girl and that one as a boy. Because they look so jolly and cute. They make me happy. I couldn't help myself when I got this stamp set because I just thought, golly, I could just see myself smiling the whole time I'm coloring these cute little guys. I'm going to put a little bit of this underneath his nose just to enhance that. Extend this and up a little bit. It kind of softens those lines to do that as well. So don't be afraid to stop if it looks unfinished right now because that's fine. It's supposed to. Now I'm going to flip to CG1 and I lost video on my TV, so now I can't see comments. So I'm going to grab my laptop really quickly. I think we're having some problems with our Wi-Fi, so I'm going to need to get that fixed. I'm going to have someone come out and look at our Wi-Fi. But let me just pull up Facebook so I can see your comments because I hate when I can't see them. It sort of drives me crazy. Crazy. All right, I can see the video. It looks like I am still live, so that is great. Looks like Mama jumped in. I'm going to move this up here so it's out of the way, but I can still see the comments. Okay, moving on. This is CG1. I don't want a whole lot of this, but I do want to get a little bit more in there and also soften that blue just a little bit. So I'm lightly touching over top of the blue and kind of filling in just a little bit more. At this point, I feel like he starts to look a little bit dirty, like a outside playing in the snow dirty snowman. But when I use the colorless blender, it'll bring it all back to where I want it to be. So don't worry, it will be okay. You guys ever watch someone and then while they're coloring, you're like, wow, that's so pretty. And then they do something else and you go, oh, I liked it so much better before they did that. I've done that before. But then they get done and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't stop watching, because in the end, it's super cute and I really like it and I would have never thought to do that. So I like to say, stick around, don't give up. So for those of you who are just popping in now, the word Frosty up here, that's the code word for tonight to win this card. Here is my colorless blender, and this is the one where I'm just going to get that like one coat over top like we do sometimes when we use the colorless blender. It's going to make the whole thing look darker, but then as it dries, it's going to lighten it all up. So don't worry, I got this, and you will too. Blending this a little bit. If you liked the look before, you could stop and you don't have to do this colorless blender part, but I like to do it because I feel like it gives a little bit more of a cohesive look for me. So I usually do it, but that's completely up to you. It's a personal preference. It's important that you come up with your own style and so people can recognize your work versus someone else's. You want to be unique. It makes everything wonderful. Okay, have I mesmerized you guys yet? Because you're a little bit on the quiet side. Even if you already won, we don't have that many people watching. You can certainly enter again if you want more than one card. It's entirely up to you. There are no limits to anything on here. So far, we've been lucky, and the people who have won have all been different every time. But we do have some of the same people who are always here, so the potential of having them win more than once is likely. Okay, and we don't want to forget this little hat right here. We got to color that too. So we don't want to forget that. Okay, so next we have to choose what colors we want to put on here. So I think what I'm going to do is start off with the blue, and then I'm going to color everything I want to be blue, and then I'm going to switch colors, and then go to the black, and then we'll be done. So our blue is B 4.7, 4.6, and 4.3. So I'm going to start with the darkest color. I am going to leave all the top hats to be black, but the rest of the hats will be colored as, you know, desired. I am going to need a brown for the little stick hands, though. I think so. I am definitely going to need that. Okay, I think I want to leave these fluffy parts for maybe that like purple, light purpley color. So I'm going to do this part of his hat, of this one's hat, in this blue. And wherever there's a seam between the blue and what's going to be lighter, I'm going to put a line there. And then also from here, and then along here. And you don't have to be perfect. Just as long as you have some color in there, you're good. I'm going to just put that on him for right now. Well, I think we need to have like he has to coordinate. So I'm going to make his little scarf every other color. It'll be two-tone, so probably with that purple again. And then this one on the bottom will be blue. And the next one will be, the other one will be purple. Now we're going to grab B 4.6 and blend this out, since it took me a while to decide what I was going to color what. I want to go ahead and get it while it's still wet. Then we're going to extend here and here, and then up from here. See, these go just a little bit faster. I'm going to do the underside of the gloves, like right there. And then I'm going to do just one middle, the middle one, and the other one and the gloves will be the purple color. Okay, the guy on the top, I'm going to let him go the way he is right now. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Like his little hands or something. I don't know. But we're going to stick with that for the blue for now. And then I'm going to move over. I did not pick any red, so I think I may come back and do the belt of that in blue because I just kind of like it. All right, so for this one, since we're going to do the top hat belt in blue, I'm going to do it in blue for all of them. So that belt and this one. So they'll all kind of be consistent and look like they're friends hanging out. Now for this one, I think I'm going to do the word snow in the blue. And then this girl right here, she's going to have just this middle section as blue. So just an accent color for her. Better late than never. That's right. It's always good to be better late than never. You're working on my half-made cards. I give cards as gifts. Oh, yes, I do too. But I have 530 right now, so I think I'm good. I'll start working on next year. But this one will go out to whoever wins the drawing tonight. So this is going to be a really cute one, I think. I'm going to put some in this hat because I want to go ahead and get this started as well. And then this is the second blue color. Oops. These Olo markers roll around your desk a lot. So it kind of drives me a little crazy. B 4.3 is the last color, and I kind of let this dry. So I'm going to have to work this a little bit. But because the Olos are so wet, don't do it too much or you'll wash out your color. Just give it time to move on its own. You also might make it go into the other square if you get it too saturated. So keep your touch really light when you're coloring with your Olos because they're way juicier. I will say that I had big problems with them when I first got them for the first go round, where they would blob on my paper. But I'm happy to report that they replaced my markers with the newer version that they've corrected, and I don't have any problems. I haven't had them blob on me at all yet. Fingers crossed. But they did make improvements. So they're not just saying that. They really did improve the blobbing on their markers. So I'm very happy to report that. So if you have them, use them, get them used up, and buy the refill, and then you won't have that problem anymore either. There we go. Okay, I think all my little small blue areas are done, but I want to do the word snow in blue. I don't know why, I just do. Let's see. Yep, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to do it a little wonky, like I'm just going to pick areas. I'm going to kind of do it like the snowman. So like I want to put these like thick areas, and I'm just randomly picking them so I can have dark areas and highlight areas within this this word. So I don't have any rhyme or reason for why I'm doing it in this particular format, but I'm just playing around. I mean, it's a word, it doesn't really matter. So I just darkened a few areas, and now I'm going to go with the B4.6, and I'm going to extend just like we did with the snowman. And I'm going to leave those outside areas to color with the lightest color so that we get a really cool look, I think. So this is just made up. I've never colored anything in this particular style before. I'm just trying something new. Clearly, I'm okay with it, however it turns out. I'm going to put a really thin line right there. And then over here, I'm going to come out with this one. I'm going to put a line here. Really thin line there. Do the same thing over here. Kind of get that colored in. So it's a little scratchy on how I'm doing it, but I think my cap rolled somewhere and I don't see it now. Yep, it rolled under my computer. You sent a Christmas card today and it was 78 cents each. I always put extra postage on all mine. Hello, Renska. I actually have two new sets of pens. I have Olos and Ohuhus, and I have been working with both of them so that I can teach all three brands of markers. That way I'm not limited to who can attend the retreats. I can cover all three of them. So that's my plan. So yeah, I have them all. So I'm not going to do a lot of blending around these edges because I want to leave that look there. Plus, if I do saturate too much, it's going to go outside the lines like I did with that one right there. So we are not going to do that. I am going to touch these thicker areas just to soften them up a little bit. But as far as around the edges, I'm only going to hit those one time. I don't want, this is snow. I don't want this to look real smooth or anything. I just want that like random light and dark look. Wow, that's talent. Great thinking. Yeah, I mean, I know that there are people who use different markers, and I've had a few retreats where, I mean, this is my first one with a collaboration with Paper Playdates. But I used to do them before, and I remember how many people would come and try so hard to use markers that were not Copics, and it was just frustrating for them. So I want to give more people the opportunity to learn. So the retreat is now open. You can go to the site and click on the link and see all the details. When you sign up, you'll select which markers you're going to be using, and then all your material will be set up for your brand of markers so we can all color together. It will be really neat. I think it's the first time this has been done by someone. I haven't seen any other like it on the market, so I'm hoping you guys will love it and be patient as we all walk through it, but I think it's going to be great. There we go. What do you think of that? That's kind of cool looking. I like that snow. Yeah, I want to be able to help lots of people. So I don't think we're going to do a whole lot in green. So I'm going to save green for last. We're going to now do the purple colors. So V7.6, V4.3, and V4.1. Getting the numbers down so I don't say the wrong numbers, that's going to be my hardest part. Because there's point something on all the Olos, but not on the Copics. So, yeah. So it's going to take a little bit of practice, but I think we're okay. All right, so for this little guy up here, I want this to look fuzzy, so I'm going to start off by putting just little tiny dots on these areas right here. We're just going to give that part a little bit of texture. I feel like it'll look cute. Normally I do this with a white or a gray, but I decided to match the pattern paper. I was going to do it with the purple. And I want to put it up here where the snowball's sitting too, because there'll be some shadow up there for sure. And then we want to do his gloves in this color and this other stripe right here. So he's going to be all in blue and pink. I mean blue and purple, if you will. So that's all his colors. And then this little guy up here, I'm not going to make his striped. I'm just going to allow those stripes to be there, but I'm going to make it all in the same color. And then his little ball will be a different color. And I think this might be supposed to be like earmuffs or something, or maybe gloves and an extra snowball. I'm not really sure. And I'm okay with that. I'm just going to, you know, try to figure it out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do his scarf. Every other one on his scarf. Again, like I did with that guy. But I'm doing the ones that I did blue above. I'm doing them purple below. And I'm also going to do the exact same thing with his hat. Underneath them. Oh, that's probably the wrong color, but that's all right. We'll make it the right color now. All right, there we go. So I'm pretty good with that amount of purple in there. So let's grab the V4.3. Frosty, Frosty. Frosty is what you have to type if you want to win the card. That's all you have to do. Yes, I am used to Copics, Meg. You are correct. I've been doing Copics for a very long time, so I am used to it, but I have been working off camera very diligently with these other brands, so I will be fluent in all of them. And the Olos I've been working on for quite some time, so I'm pretty good with them. Don't worry, I'll do all the research so you guys won't have to. There we go. And then this one up here, I think I'm just going to finish his hat off with this color. But I'm going to add a little bit of the last color for his glove areas. So we're just adding this. I'm going to go ahead and finish off those wrist parts of his gloves with this color. And then we just need to do this one. Picking which areas you want to put these colors on. Sometimes I think that for me is what takes me the longest. Appreciate the research. Thank you. Yeah, so we do the drawing to win this card. Right after the show, I go through, I check like for everybody who said Frosty. And I put your name on a wheel, and then I record the wheel as it goes around and selects the winner, and I post that, and then I will mail the card the next day. Unless you win like my mom, and I'm seeing her on Sunday, so I'm just going to take it to her. But everybody else I will mail. Unless you win, Rebecca, and I'm supposed to see you this weekend too, so I'd probably deliver yours. I can't deliver everybody's, but I wish I could. How fun would that be if I could come and deliver? You're a coloring wizard. You're amazing. Oh, thank you so much. It is, you know, what I love to do. It does make me happy. So finishing off now with the V1 4.1. And I'm loving giving away the cards. I think it's, oh, so much fun. It's like your Christmas Advent giveaway. Sometimes when I'm doing the lives, I'm like, oh, I should have asked if anybody wanted it. But then I was like, oh, yeah. Then they're going to all want it. These colors are going to be great with this paper. I'm so excited. You'd love to win this card? And my mom won the last one. So far, we've had 3 new winners. So I would love to see a new winner tonight, too. Some people who already won, they don't put their name in again for a night or two just to give other people a chance, which I think is so super nice. You're welcome to enter every night if you want to win them all. That's up to you. Okay, so the remainder of what's on here is going to be green on this area. And then now I'm going to work on what's going to be purple on this one. And I definitely want the flower purple. So I'm going to do the center part of the flower, the dark purple. And then I definitely want some of this in purple. But what we're going to do, this is going to be crazy because you've probably never seen this before. Any card would be wonderful. Oh, Renska, you're already going to get a Christmas card from me because I got one from you. I'm going to make this scarf like a dual tone scarf. So it's going to be kind of in stripes, but in an ombre type form. So I don't always pay that close attention to the artist drawn lines. I'm okay with there being stripes in here, but I'm not coloring it that way. That's the fun part. You can do whatever you want. It's up to you. I'm going to put a little bit of purple on the edges of these gloves, but I think I'm going to make them green. And then we're going to add a bit of purple. We're going to make this hat a little bit purple. And right here. And then we'll make the ball and the bottom part in green. So this little one needs purple gloves as well. So I'm going to do the glove part in purple and the base of it in green. So we're going to play around with those colors and we will get them done. V4.3. I actually saved your address as soon as your card came in. Just in case I needed it. So I'm extending from where I put that darkest color. See what I mean by ombre? I'm going to go down a little bit and leave space for the last color. And we're just going to keep this kind of like, it's just different ways to color those designs so you get a different look. Because it's just fun that way. So in between these, are going to have this lighter purple. Then right here. And then I'm just going to go down in this little weavy part because I want the base, the other section to be green. So I'm just going down in that little hump area there. Okay, one more color in purple and then we're moving to green. Then we just have to do the black accents and we are done. Our thing is drying nicely. It's not quite there yet, but we still have to build the card. So we may still get there tonight. I'll try to heat tool that if it's not if it's not in a good spot by the time we are ready to start building the card, cutting all the pieces for the card. But don't worry, we'll get it done. So that's kind of it. Not that much in this light purple. Just a little teeny bit. All right, now we're going to go to green. It looks so shimmery. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? It's going to be gorgeous. It is this Astro Paste, because I know a bunch of you have jumped on after that. It's Simon Hurley Astro Paste Unicorn Horn. We're going to use YG 8.7, G 5.3, and YG 8.3. So this is 8.7. I guess we're going to make that flower green because I didn't do it in the other color. Okay. And hold tight for 1 second. I missed the little finishing the little gloves up here on this little guy. Okay. That was supposed to be in purple. All right, so here we go. We're going to make his little ball in the green. So I'm going to follow that same pattern I did down here. And same thing for this one. Just randomly put those dots in there. You can do it however you want, but try not to do a pattern. Just try to be random. I just kind of stayed the darkness on the same side all the way around for consistency purposes. But you can do it however you want. It's not really judgy on shadowing and such. I mean, it's a snowman. It's a snowman. This little snowman, we'll do his gloves kind of ombre like we did the other guy's scarf. Why not, right? So we'll start dark and they'll get light on the tips. That'll make it fun, a little bit different. While we're doing this, these are just really small parts, so we're going to go ahead and do this side at the same time. I got some of that, but I haven't used it yet. I love the name Unicorn Horn. Yes, I know. I couldn't help myself when I saw it, and I wanted them all, but I didn't know how much I would use them or if I liked them, so I just had to pick one for now so I could play with it and then decide from there. And I really like it. I don't like that I have to wait for it to dry because I'm impatient sometimes, but I do really love the look of it. There we go. All right, next color is G 5.3. Ooh, look at that. See, if you think, this is what I hear people say, oh, I don't have to clean my markers when they're not Copics or whatever. I'm telling you right now, they all need to be cleaned. Watch this. This is just colorless blender. See? They all get ink all over them. It's just these are black, so you can't see it, but you can feel it, which means I also need to clean the cap, because if I don't clean the cap, I'm not going to get any of that ink off, and it's going to be on the top the next time. See? See how much ink is in there? So you still have to clean them, even though they're a different brand. You still have to clean them. You still have to maintain your markers, regardless. It kind of looks like my nib isn't in all the way, so I'm going to check that in a little bit. See how far out it's sticking? I think that's my problem. So let's just see if it's seated. Nope, that was the problem. All right, so at least we have it kind of fixed now. It shouldn't be leaking again. But sometimes it moves around and when it gets shipped and all that stuff. So I don't think it's a bad thing for the actual markers. Like, it's not a negative thing. It's just sometimes, yeah, and it's real juicy. it would be one that might blob on your paper if you're not careful. So if you tend to watch how it goes on the paper and watch the nib. And if it gets really, really juicy, you'll want to pull it away from your project, or this one's going to blob for sure. Just going to soak up a little bit of it so it doesn't blob on my paper. Right after I bragged and said it doesn't do it anymore, this one seems to be struggling a little bit. So I would say just watch the tip. I mean, you're already looking at the paper and you're really close to it, so watch it. If it starts to get too juicy, pull it away from the paper. So in this case, I'm only gonna do a little spot up, a little bit up here, and then I'm gonna stop. And I'll do just one little touch in the flower, and then I will use the other marker for the rest. I'm just going to set that one aside for a minute because, yeah, I don't want to. See how much less juicy this one is? I might be having an issue. I may have to pull the nib out of that one and just like double check it. I'm just going to put a little bit on these sides for some color. And all I'm doing is kind of touching in between. I like the different colors of these greens so they don't technically blend together, but I like the variety of them. I think it also builds texture. I came across another three dried out Copics tonight. Oh, that is so disappointing. It is a lot of ink. Gonna have to catch the rest of this on the replay. Loving it so far. Yay! Okay, that's fine. You're still in the drawing, even if you're not here. If you made the comment of Frosty, you still end up in the drawing. So no worries, because I know some people don't stay up that late, and that's okay. We are getting close, and then we're gonna build the card. So I understand, and you can come back to see the card because it's pretty cool. I think it's going to look really pretty. Although you may already know how to make it. I sat next to you at Paper Ganza. You were very crafty. Okay, so that's everything except their little brown arms. So we'll definitely have to come back for their little brown arms. But I'll just pull one color and we'll fill that in. The rest of these, I'm just filling in the remaining white part with this green marker. And I'm just going to do this whole area right here. Since that middle green marker was so juicy, I didn't want to mix it up here and then have it blob in this tiny area. These are so cute. This stamp set is really cute. Like I said, it just arrived today, so it arrived today and I started coloring with it today. Okay, I'm just going to choose 4.6 for my little arms. It's just a little bit of brown. And I'm just doing a little stripe on it just because I don't want to leave them like open. It needs to have a little bit of brown, but I'm not doing any shadow area because it's just not big enough places for that. But we definitely want them to be sticks. Okay, I think that covers all the little sticks. And then we need to do the black on the hats, which should be super fast. This is going to be CG9. And we're just going to go around the edges, and build in that darkness. I'm going to put the gold gel pen right there so we don't have to worry about that gold part right there. Or maybe silver. I don't know. One of them. Whichever gel pen is easier for me to get to, that's the one we're going to use. No other part of these guys needs to be this black, but we have two top hats over here. So I'm just doing the edges of the top hats to keep them looking round. There we go. And then we're going to go to our CG7. You still love Copics, so do I. What about the frosty hat? Yep, I'm working on that. Ah, okay. See, you knew that. You caught me. But thank you, because sometimes I do forget things. But yes, we are doing the frosty hat too. So there's not a lot of Olos right now in the black range. You just get every other number, which normally works okay. You just have to do tip to tip, and I like the fast, quick. I don't have to get another marker out and do tip to tip. But they don't have all the mid colors, so you do have to do tip to tip, which is fine. It's just right now while I'm rushing on a live, it's not as easy. Then I'm gonna flip to CG5, and I'm just gonna blend this out. And you don't want to do too much. Remember, these are really juicy, so if you feel like it's starting to really saturate the paper, just put the ink on there and come back to it. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to do each one, and then we'll come back and do one more coat over it, and that should blend it together. Which, with Copics, you don't really have to wait that long. You just wait a second or two, and you can go over it again, and it'll blend really well. But they're not as juicy. So the technique changes just slightly when you're using these other markers. But see, the second coat really starts doing the trick. You get a blended look. It just takes a little bit of time to understand and master that process, knowing the difference between how each one performs. But yeah, they look really cute. Okay, now I'm going to grab whichever one comes out first. Oh, it's silver. So the buckle's going to be silver. Now, once I put this silver pen on here, we can't touch it for a bit. We have to put this away, otherwise we'll smear it. And I am well known for smearing a gel pen. I'm not going to lie, I smear gel pens all the time. There we go. I think since we have that on there, I'm going to add just a little bit in the word frosty. Just for a little bit of fancy. Not that it really matters. You don't really have to do that if you're working on yours and you don't want to. But I just kind of like to add a little bit of extra. So that's our silver on that one. I'm not putting any silver on the other one, but I do need my white gel pen and my multi-liner. This is also a technique that I do because I like it, not because it's a requirement when you're coloring. But I like it. I'm going to use my Copic 0.35. It doesn't take very long, but I'm going to go over their eyes just to deepen them up because I feel like it makes them stand out just a little bit more. So just going over the eyes, and maybe sometimes a little bit in the mouth will help too if they have a big smile going on. This one probably too. It just helps those eyes and mouths stand out a little bit more. And then we'll use the white gel pen when we're done with that. We have to give it a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to set that one aside and do this one. If you're nervous about doing something like this because you're afraid you'll go outside the lines or anything like that, then just don't do this step until you feel confident. It took me a while to do this. I would try it and then I would mess them up and I'd get so mad at myself, but it took me a little while to get used to it, but once you do, you'll really, really like it. If you happen to go over the little white spot, don't worry about that. That's what we're going to fill in with our white gel pen, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. So that kind of just makes their eyes stand out a little bit more, and I like that. I have my white gel pen, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm going to move all of the Olo markers off to the side. I think I have one that I didn't close all the way, the one that was really juicy. I'm going to move them out of the way. While we're waiting for those eyes to dry, I'm going to use the W's that we pulled out just for this bottom of the snowy area. And I'm going to do it just like I did the hat. So I'm going to use the WG3. And I'm just going to put a bit of this and just build them a little bit of a platform that they're standing on, or that the letters are standing on. I'm also going to use my white gel pen in this area to kind of make it look a little more snowy, but we're not to that point yet. Just want to get a little bit of that in there. So cute. You'd love it. I love snowmen too. They're so cute. WG1. And this doesn't have to be smooth or completed. It just needs a little bit in there so it doesn't look like these snowmen are floating. So I'm just really quickly dotting on this paper and adding a platform for them to stand on. It's going to be just enough for your imagination to finish out the rest of the thought. So you'll look at it and see it in your imagination. WG0. This one, I'll touch the paper for slightly longer and on the more side of my marker, and it'll help blend those other two colors a little bit. And I think it'll be just enough. Oh, I can't wait to do this card, you guys, because I'm not so worried about the card not working out. I've only made the card one practice time, but I think it's going to be, I didn't have any problems with it, so these Olos roll around your desk, not going to lie. Okay, this is my white gel pen. This is where I'm going to get those eyes to show up a little bit more. Back now that I put the black in there. And then if you want, you can add a little bit like on the tips of their noses or like the top of the hat, like this. You can just decide wherever you want to put it and put it there. You could do the top, little tops of the hands. You could do whatever you want. It's up to you. It's your image. I'll do the little eyes. You could put some on the word snow if you wanted. I probably won't do much. Just a little bit for fun. There we go. We need a teeny bit on this flower so it looks like it's a little bit going on this hat. A little bit on the eyes for this little guy. That one doesn't have any eyes opened. They have eyes. They're just closed. Okay, so that gives me enough little bling bling awesome stuff. You need to create an Olo holder, Dale. Yes, I know. Here's the problem with the Olo holder, though. Some people store them marker tip to marker tip, and that's one size. I store mine with a refill on the end, and that's a different size. So it's hard. We do have this one. This is the one we made for Olos. I think I have one down here that's in the shop, but it's not purple, and you guys know I have the prototype. But anyway, you put the markers in there like that. See if I can. This is the prototype. It stops at this fold right here. Then you stick them in here like this. Then they won't roll on your desk. But I only have the prototype, and mine hadn't had the stopper built in yet. But it also lays flat like this to keep them from rolling on your desk. So we have those in the shop. They're pretty awesome. I just don't I just didn't have mine out on my desk, so I didn't have it ready. Okay. Here we go. I think my papers, here they are, and my instructions that I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, this one we are not cutting out or doing anything. We're gonna just adhere it just like this. So I'm gonna take this one and set it aside for now. This one we are gonna have to cut those little things out. This is our paper, and I haven't cut my pattern paper yet because I wasn't sure how much of each color I was going to use, but we'll cut that as we go along. Our base, evidently, I didn't cut that either. I didn't have my stuff together, did I? Okay, so when you start this card, the base of the card, you just need a A2 card base. That is step one, A2 card base. We're gonna build this around that A2 card base. I buried my bone folder underneath all those markers. Okay, there we go. All right, so you start off with an A2 card base. That's great. Here's my instructions. I'm going to sit them on the side. Don't forget to do your word frosty if you want to win this card. Here they are. I'll hold them up close. If you want to take a snapshot of that, you can. These are just the basic measurements. Start with the standard A2 card base. Then we need a mat that's 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to need two solid pieces, two solid colored papers at 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. You're going to score on the long side, so on the 3 1/4 side, and I'll show you because I have to do it on both of them. And then you need a solid that's 2 1/4 by 1 1/2. I mean by half, just half, not 1 1/2, just half. So you just need these shapes. And then the accent papers, I don't have the measurements on them, but we'll know how to do them because you just do them 1/4 of an inch smaller than everything else. So I'll leave this out right here and we'll go ahead and cut these pieces. So we need a mat that is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. So I have this actual piece of paper right here. I'm going to cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. That's my mat piece. It's going to mat on top of this. Let me see. I should scoot out so you guys can see way better what I'm doing. Again, I can't see the screen on my TV like I usually can, so pardon me for not doing that earlier. Then I said I needed two solid pieces, so I need 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. And I need 2 of those. So 2 1/2. So now I have 2 of those. And then I need a solid piece that is a 1/2 inch. So this is me eyeballing 1/2 inch on my trimmer. But as long as you make it a 1/2 inch, you're good. It's pretty darn close. And then 1/2 inch by 2 1/4. So there we go. And I did those all out of the same little half sheet of paper. So it was pretty quick and didn't take too much. But those are the pieces that we're going to need for this. Now we're going to score. We're going to do that quick little score line we need to do. It's a very small. It's only 2 score lines. So we're going to take these 2 pieces of paper. And when I said the long side, you're going to lay this down so that it's all the way over 3 1/4. And then take your little, woo, slippery little sucker. And you're going to score it at 1/2 inch, which is right here. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. So the 3 1/4 and score at 1/2 inch. And that's it. That's the only scores you have to make this card. Flat works better. Yeah. There we go. All right. So that's the pieces that you need. Then we're going to need pattern paper on some of this. So let's start rolling with the pieces that we need to have. So this one, I think I'm going to need to trim it down. Oh no, it's already trimmed. Oh, golden. Okay, that one's going to go on the inside. So we'll leave that out there for now. This one is going to go on top of here. Very excited about that. This one is going to go on top. It's going to go on top of this one. So we are going to have to trim it down, but it's not quite ready, but it's very, very close. It's still a little bit damp feeling, but it's getting there. We're almost there. So I'm going to trim this one down. Hopefully it's not going to mess anything up, because I want it to be matted on that. So I'm going to trim this paper. Remember, this one was 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm only going to go 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to go one teeny tiny little notch right there on this side. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the other tiny little notch on this side, so that it's the same on top and bottom. And then this one was 5 1/4, and I just want to go one little notch this way. So we're just taking off 1/8 of an inch. I'm just doing 1/16 on each side, because I want to make sure I keep the image in the center. Oh, my video ended. Oh no, it's still going. Okay, well, my computer now told me my video ended. Anyway, I only cut 1/8 of an inch. Dale, can you check the video, please? So that I just have a tiny border around here. That's what I really want. So this will fit right here. Not going to glue that down yet. We're going to go to the next section, which is these little ones right here. So I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to burnish that. And I'm going to take this one and do the same thing. Okay, now do you remember at the beginning of our video, we made these little snowflake designs? They're going to go in the center of this, but we're going to put a mat around it. So these little squares are 2 by 2. So I'm going to make a pattern paper at 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So I'm going to choose something from this paper pack and I think I want to do, I kind of want to do these ornaments. I really, really like the ornaments.
Rinska's on. Did she know about the frosting?
Yes, I did. I told her. But we can mention it again. Make sure that you comment Frosty if you want to be in the drawing for this card. Okay, so we're going to make our square 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 so that they'll fit on here.
Barbara asked a question. Do you have one for Ohuhu yet? What's she talking about?
We do not yet. We do not have one for Ohuhu yet, but we are working on it. The stand, we were going over this one, but because I don't think the Ohuhus fit in that. I think they're too big. I'm not sure. Let me check. Yep, too big. So yeah, we need to come up with something. I did already tell Dale we needed an Ohuhu holder. So we will have one for Ohuhu as well, way before the retreat. Okay, so now these are going to go on top of these. And then these little snowflakes are going to go on top of them. So we're going to have a bit of a dimension going on right here. And then remember, we have this little piece right here that says it is 2 1/4 by 1/2 inch. So what I want is this piece of paper at 2 inches. We're just going to use the same piece of paper. And then I want it to be a little bit like it's going to be 1/4 of an inch, because the 1/2 inch, I'm going to eyeball this, you guys, seriously, because that's just the way I roll. There we go. So it's going to be, since this is 1/2 inch, this is going to be 1/4 of an inch. And look, it works nicely. It's good enough for an eyeball piece. So it goes in there like this. Yeah, if you could look at those comments, I'm struggling with seeing the comments tonight.
I like the stand like the one I purchased.
Yes, so she's talking about one that holds them upright like the Copics.
Okay. I know their caps are particular since they have that little tab on the sides.
They are. That is the only problem for them. Okay, I'm going to glue this onto there, and I'm going to glue those onto there, and then I'll show you how to attach it all to the card. Okay, here's my glue, and don't forget we have our little dinosaur pins in there now to hold the glue topper for you in case you drop your glue pin. You can find it. Right now we have dinosaurs. Other designs could potentially be in the works.
Just Sandy likes dinosaurs.
I like dinosaurs. But for oh hoo hoo, my request for Dale. Yes, Barbara. Okay, so I'm going to flatten this out. And I'm going to take this. Oh, how pretty. This says like night before Christmas and everything. How pretty is that? Well, we need a little bit of this purple in here, so we're just going to do that. All right, so these are going to go, this is going to go right in the center. There is a wider on the top than there is on the sides. I'm okay with that. That was my intent. But you can size it however you want. That's why I didn't give you the accent paper sizes, because you can just decide whatever you want. As long as you have the basic sizes to create the card, you should be good. Now the key to this is one side, the fold has to be on this side, and the other side, the fold has to be on this side. So just make sure you're not attaching the paper with the folds on the same side if your pattern paper has to go in one direction. So like if I did them both on the same side, then one of mine would be upside down, and we don't want that. So I missed this little corner right here. There we go. All right, and then we made these awesome snowflakes here. So we're gonna attach that. All of this you can build more dimension by putting pops and all that stuff, but I'm pretty happy with it just like this. So this is gonna go here, and you can still see my Christmas bulbs. We're just centering it on top of the bulbs. This one's the same thing. One on each side, so that's pretty cool. Pretty easy. This card's pretty easy, but looks pretty cool when you get done. So there we go with that one. Just want to make sure these are pressed down really good. So you notice I told you how to put where everything was going to go, but I haven't attached anything yet, because some of these have to be layered a specific way or it will mess it up. So let me show you what I mean. So this, if you attach this, you're not going to be able to put these underneath them, because they're going to go underneath this, so you can hide the attachments, okay? So you're going to go, it's going to go underneath it, but you're going to put it to the edge of the card like that. Then this one will go on the other side. Now, if you want it to be exactly even, use some kind of ruler like I have on my desk. So part of my desk, I'm going to make the card straight. And then I'm going to choose this line right here on both sides and line it up. And I'm going to attach my piece right there. That way I know it's in the same spot. So in order to make sure it doesn't move, I'm going to attach my magnets. One at the bottom, one at the top. Make sure it's all lined up. And then I'm going to put the glue on here. So on the same side as the image, we're going to put the glue. And then I'm going to take it. I want to make sure it's not going to be upside down. And I'm going to line up the bottom of this with this line on my desk. So hopefully you can see that in the video. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Glue on the side with all the decoration. Then I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to line it up with this line on my desk. So however you do your measurements for lining up like that on your desk, do that. Whatever that might be. However you do it. Then I'm going to take my little press pop and I'm going to push that down so I get a really good adhesion. And then I'm going to take that awesome little frosty that we all colored up because everything is all dried on it now. And we are going to put glue on the back. Sorry, I used some paper I had printed out something else on. Shh, nobody will know except for those of you who are watching, which will be whoever gets a card will know too. But you can't see it, so you don't want to waste the paper. Now I'm going to center this inside the card. So this is a lot of fun. I don't want to mess anything up, so I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to rub it with my press pop right here. And then before we move on too far, we are going to go ahead and stamp the bottom with my signature. Otherwise it gets too bumpy and you can't see it. And then I'm going to flip this back over. Okay, this is going to close just like that. And then we're going to take this piece here and I'm going to attach this because it's pretty close to being dry. I think by the morning it'll be golden, but for right now it's dry enough to work with. So I'm going to mat it on here. Isn't this just gorgeous? This is the brand new stencil in the shop. It is called, what is it called, honey? What did you call this?
Geo Flower.
Geo Flower. It is called Geo Flower. Like a geometric flower kind of thing is what it's called. I'm going to use my press pop to kind of press this paper onto that design so everything is like on there really good. Just like that. We're going to take this and attach it to our card. Wait till you see how this card closes up. I think you guys are really going to like it. And this is so pretty. That Astro Paste. I got it at an expo, but anywhere you can get Simon Hurley stuff, I'm sure you can get it. You can get it there. But the stencil, that's our design. That's Dale designed this stencil. I asked for something geometric, and this is what he did for me. And for you. Okay, flip over one more time so I can press it. To make sure I got a good hold.
Yeah, that little sample I made where I doubled them up.
I don't know where that would be.
Okay.
Here's the measurements one more time. And I'm going to cut these out. So I need my little snowballs because they're going to go in a specific spot. Don't worry, I can cut them out fast. They're just so cute. They're going to be so much fun. I could see me using this stamp set a lot just because it's so darn cute. Could you imagine putting a whole bunch of these little snowballs all over your card and then just coloring like just the balls of the hat or just the hat part, or, you know, not even coloring everything, but just putting a little accent on there would be so adorable. But this makes me think of Snowball Fight, you know, because this is just a little snowball, only he's so cold too. He has gloves and hat. I love it. Wish I had thought of it myself. All right, so one little guy down, one to go. It won't be too hard. We are going to cut out this guy, but not, we're just going to put a mat around him. It just, instead of using a die, I'm just going to hand do it because that's the way I roll. I have a few dies, but I mostly focus on just cutting it out however I want it to be. I think it's not because I can't find a die I like, not because I haven't designed it some, but just because it's just easy for me, you know? I mean, I'm lazy. I don't want to get up and go over there and go through all my dies and pull out that die and then use my Gemini, and I'll just cut it. Some people ask how I make so many cards so fast. That's how. I just don't use too many fancy things. I just roll with what I got. Okay, around the bottom of this little snowball, and we will have him finished. Ooh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to show you guys it's finished. I feel really good about how this has been coming out. I am going to save one piece to glue later, just because I don't want to put anything on top of that right now while it's wet. So I need to use bigger scissors for this because I need kind of a straight-ish sort of line. I'm going to start right here, and then I'm going to rotate up just a little bit so it stays kind of wonky, if you will. And then I want to build like a whole little outline around this. So it's going to go like this, but I'm not going to go real detailed. I want to kind of keep it like this. Then we'll come down here, we'll go over the Let It Snow, we'll go down the side, and then around the S, and off the page. And that's how I do it. And then anything I don't like or feel like needs a little bit more trimming, I'll do that after the fact. I kind of like that a little bit closer. Maybe a little bit more curved right there. And then I'm pretty happy with that. I just need this part to be a little more rounded because he's a snowman and he's so cute. But he's gonna go here. Let's round these corners just a little bit. Instead of square corners, let's kind of get them a little bit more rounded. I just think the rounded corner will look better. There we go. All right, so I'm not going to tape this right now, but this little guy is going to go right here in the center of all of this beauty, right? All of this pretty bling fancy stuff. And then I'm going to close these windows, and you're not even going to see him. These are my windows. I'll close them so you can't see him. He's hidden in there. Then I'm going to take this little piece that we made earlier, and I'm going to glue it on one side. Okay, you can glue on whatever side you want. Since I open a card this way, I'm going to do it on that side, but you can choose whatever side. Only glue one side, So I'm going to close that up. I'm going to glue one side. If you want, you can put a sentiment on the front, whatever you want to put on there. That's going to somewhat hold my card together. Now these little guys, they're going to go out here. I think I want the bigger one on this side, the littler one on this side. So we're just going to add these little snowball guys to the outside of our card.
Could you put one of the snowballs so the tab goes underneath its hand to keep it closed?
Like right here like this?
Yeah.
I could. Dale said, that's a good idea. Dale says we should, he's so smart, we should glue half of this snowball guy. And we should place him right here so you can tuck under the top. This is what you were talking about, right, hon?
Yeah. Now the card will be closed.
The card will stay closed because it's tucked under his little hand. And then this one can go on the other side. See, two great minds think alike better than one. This is so cool. You like it? So creative. Really been enjoying learning all the new ways to make cards. Yay! I am so glad to hear that. This little guy, I think I'm just going to put him over here. It doesn't really matter where he is as long as he's happy. Or she. Or whatever you want to call it. But when you get this card, it's so beautiful and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And then you open it up and look, it's so cute. But it gets better because then you open it up and you get this part too. I mean, how amazing is that? And then you just sign it and they'll be so happy. Isn't it awesome? Now, if you haven't already, you definitely want to type in Frosty if you would like to have this card. If you would like to win this card, it's free and I will ship it to you in the morning, whoever wins. Hi, Phyllis. I'm going to hold it up a little bit so you can see it a little better and the instructions. Now remember, I will glue this down. I just don't want to glue it on while it's wet, but it will be on the inside here because it's not wet, but it's still slightly damp. This one slides under his hand, holds your card together. These are the measurements that I used. So I'm going to kind of hold that up. So if you want to take a snap of it with the instructions and what the card looks like with it, so you don't forget which card this one made. There you go. So beautiful, and you think it's over, but it's not. There's even more. How cute is that? This stamp set is, so, I bought it because of this little guy right here because he's so stinking cute. But here is a new card fold for you. Hopefully you'll try it. You can put your own twist. You can round the corners, or you can change the way you attach it, or you can change the theme that you're using for it, or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But look at that. That's our brand new stencil in the shop. It looks like this. But if you rotate it, like if I rotated it again and did it like this, it comes out, like if you rotate like this, it comes out so gorgeous. And then like this, and then like this, and you color it with the different oxides. It's amazing what it looks like. So we'll try that another time, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you liked it. You can tell that some of this is a little more dry than the part that you can still see the white, but when it finishes drying, it's going to be gorgeous, and it'll be dry by morning, so I will ship it out to whoever wins. I hope you guys like that. I hope you will join me on Craft Roulette tomorrow night. I will be winging whatever the parameters, whatever Mr. Wheel picks for me. And I will be making a card. So come join me at Craft Roulette. You're going to case this card. Yay! can't wait to see your case card, Meg. I know, right? Share it in the group when you case the card. Thank you so much for joining me. This was super fun tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Good luck to everyone who typed in Frosty. We will go through, put the names in the wheel, and draw it as soon as the live is over, and we'll know who won this gorgeous card. So if you're watching YouTube, please like and subscribe. It helps our channel. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the craftroulette.live YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching. Good night.